We're going to sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
our baby.
Happy birthday, dear Society 97.
Turning 2, not 1, because we forgot to celebrate this last year.
Happy birthday to you. And many more. Until you're 104. Is that how it goes? Something like that.
And many more on channel 4. A big fat hen on channel 10.
I don't think that's how it goes, but I like your
singing
improv.
lady on channel 80. It's like something like that.
Oh.
Or at least that's the way that we said it.
Oh, that's how
in
we did it
Arkansas.
in Arkansas. That's not how I don't think we did that in Pennsylvania, but I mean,
Yeah.
shit. I'm gonna just say it. Have sex with a Scorpio.
I could glute bridge your dad.
I'm naked. Hold on. We will be flicking the beans to that.
But she's tatted and I take meth. Is somebody in your house right now?
But you know what? Fuck your ass.
Yeah, I had sex last night.
You can make your own money. You can literally have your own job of your dreams. You can own your own house. You can own your own car. You can pay all your fucking own bills. So what is that man? That man is sex and a best friend, and that's it.
I heard nothing but the truth.
Well, happy birthday to us.
Yeah, so technically our birthday is September 30th. So if it's also your birthday, congratulations, you share
Libra sisters.
You share a birthday with our baby.
And you're the same zodiac as Emily.
Yeah.
Not me though. Wow, I'm the only Leo in the situation. But I feel like I'm surrounded by Libras.
Yeah,
it just
makes sense. It does make sense. But yeah, if you're watching the YouTube version, which if you aren't, what are you doing? Go to YouTube, subscribe to Society 97, little plug there. I made some nice decorations for our birthday.
This is the most Emily thing ever because like she came over saying I made some signs and I was like, okay, great, because I didn't even think about it. I've actually been more concerned about your birthday.
Yeah, my birthday's the next episode actually.
Yeah, literally next week when we record, it's gonna be Emily's birthday.
Yeah, and then 2 days after when the episode comes out is my little brother's birthday. So
yeah,
and then
birthday to him. The week after that is my sister's birthday.
And then the week after that is my mom's birthday.
And then the week after that, my family comes and your family comes.
Yes.
So it's just like
it's cake season, ladies.
We have a lot. I know. Everyone cover up. We're eating cake or let her hang.
Good.
We're eating good this month because oh my God.
Well, also it's like I feel like at least with my family, it's like we have birthdays that start in September and they don't end until like my brother's birthday is the end of January.
Right.
So actually, no, now they start in August because of Marlo. So it goes baby, dad, sister-in-law, me, my little brother, my mom, then my other niece, and then my older brother. The only month that we don't have is December, but December is Christmas, so you're still eating good.
Yeah, like there's still a reason to celebrate something. Like, I know, that's kind of interesting because my family is not the same way. Like I'm in August, my sister's October, my dad's April, my mom's June.
So what does that say about
and
people's sex schedule?
My sister's husband is April.
So
I think that my parents technically would have had sex at Thanksgiving to have me.
Yeah.
Around that time.
Yeah.
I was a Thanksgiving baby.
And mine was what? Christmas time?
Yeah, like Christmas, New Year's.
Romantic time of year.
Yeah, I feel like that would make
both times during cuffing season. I think it's wild when people have sex.
No, yours would have been February because your month's 10.
Oh, yeah.
So yours would have been a Valentine's Day, baby.
That makes sense.
Like, I mean, or actually, they were like gearing up for Valentine's Day.
They could
early celebration that year.
Both years in a row, or
2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Well, not in a row, but like, they were. So, is there something for them around then?
I think their anniversary's in March, so maybe like a pre-anniversary, like if they celebrated it early for like a work trip or something, like because they were going on a work thing.
Yeah, but that's like that would be like real early because you're.
Yeah.
I don't know.
My parents were barely married before they started trying for a baby because my mom was like 32 when she got pregnant.
They have my sister. I think the same year that I got married. Like they literally got pregnant right away.
Mm-hmm. That's how my parents were with me as well.
But like they were also together for many years before.
Yeah.
So like it was just like that was.
My mom was like,
No, for
I
them,
gotta go. I gotta go.
it was like marriage and like the next step in life is kids. Like
Right.
it was like marriage, kids instantly because that's like what you do. And then they took a 5-year hiatus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I feel that.
And
Well,
then
I
there's me.
don't feel that because I'm not a mother, but
I'm not. Yeah.
I can sympathize.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I know a lot of you haven't been here for the full 2 years with us, but we appreciate you for coming along on the ride regardless of whenever you started. And I know like, and I say this as in like, I know our moms have been on this ride with us for the full 2 years and like a couple of our friends and like stuff like that. And there are some of you as well who've been like very much like early on.
Yeah, which is crazy because it's like, how did you even find us?
Yeah. And we are so grateful as to like where it is. And like Emily and I actually took like a step back the past couple of weeks and been like trying to like I don't want to say like redesign the podcast, because that's not what we're doing, but it's like trying to find that like mojo and that like spark again for the creative side of everything. And
let's just say we found it.
We found it and we're really fucking excited.
And let's just say there's some big things coming soon. So call that an early birthday present.
Yeah.
Bitch.
So we're going to need $5 a month. Yeah. Wink, wink, hint, hint, in order for you to receive gifts. So,
yes.
So anyway, it's a little Easter egg for you.
Yeah, a little Easter egg there. But yeah, we definitely both like took a moment in our careers where we were like kind of heads down, gonna grind it out. You had some big career changes this year. I had some very much like mental things that I was overcoming this past year. And so like, not that the podcast wasn't a priority, but it became very much like part of our routine.
We had a well-oiled machine that we need to unoil.
Yes, because the creativity part of it and the inspiration part of it was lacking. It was just kind of a box to check each week to get done. And me and Kellen both knew that was happening, but we were like, what do we do? Like, you know, and we had and have really big goals for this thing. But a lot of times, like when you make something or you have ambitions for something, that can become like overwhelming. And so it's much easier to kind of just like grind it here and now and kind of think about the future later. But that also kind of put a pause on that forward thinking and stuff. And so this past weekend we like met up and had like a very like I think not pivotal conversation.
It was productive.
But yeah, we had a very productive conversation and have some big ideas moving forward for 2024. And so right now we're still going to keep doing the same old, but just know that there's some big things to come and things that we're working towards and goals that we have in place to make better content for you guys, have a better production on our end, and like really like grow our audience the way that we were growing when we had these big goals in our head. But because we kind of like got into the weeds of it, we haven't been growing as fast or as...
Right. But even to that point, like Emily the other day kind of brought like this TikTok that she saw up to like my attention. And I think like, and it's just based like how our brains are. Emily is very numbers based and I'm not as numbers based. So like to me, I'm like, whoa, that still looks crazy. And to her, she's like, well, comparatively, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I think like we get so, and I think just people in general and any of you who are starting to like be creators of any sort, of any capacity.
Yeah.
Is like, you look at numbers and you're like, well, that's low compared to so-and-so. And first of all, you should never compare yourself to others. And that's a huge thing we always tell you guys, but we're doing it ourselves because we're human. But like obviously it's no secret that like we love TMG. And like we look at theirs and they're like telling us how like they have low numbers, but they're getting like 74,000 YouTube YouTube views within like 24 hours and we're like, what the fuck? Like,
and like to hear them say like that's bad performance on YouTube a lot of times like would make me specifically be like, well, if that is bad, then like what are we even trying for?
Right. But but then this like TikTok that she was like telling me about was like very much like, okay, but if we put our numbers and we like think about like if we hosted something that could sell out like XYZ venue. Yeah. And we wouldn't even think that. Or like if we sold merch and every single person was able to buy merch, that's insane. Yeah. Like it's actually insane what you guys have allowed us to build. And like
and also something that we haven't fully like, not, I think take advantage is the wrong phrase, but like we haven't like,
I don't think we grasp the idea.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like we're not like, all of these words have negative connotations with them, but like using you guys as much as like we should be, because in our heads when we see other creators and stuff, it's like they had 5 million followers before they did X step,
well,
or like before they did this
real
thing. Yeah,
like because we're not at a point where we're doing like campaigns and photo shoots and like being flown out to do all these things and like
making money.
Whether that happens or it doesn't, it's still a big community. Yeah. Like a worldwide community, might I add. Like this isn't just like a Nashville thing. Like it's literally worldwide. And that's what's also crazy to like.
When I look at the map and like all the highlighted countries, like
colorful.
It's also one of those things that like, like you said, it does not feel real. Like the fact that like we're two nobodies in Tennessee
and thousands of people listen to us
every week. Like it's very weird, and it's very like Truman Show vibes where it's like it's just our reality, so like we don't realize it.
We're acting. We're acting like legit. And this was like, what's I actually think about this sometimes. This might be like me wilding out in my brain, like the Lulu, but I'm like, I work at a very local place. Like,
dude, I sometimes think if somebody like recognizes me, like what would I do?
Right. Well, no, because I'm thinking like
I don't think anybody would, and I don't think that's gonna happen for a really long time.
Exactly.
Same thing. Like, if somebody were to do it, I would not know what to do.
Right, but like, okay, I'm thinking the exact same thing, and this is how I've thought, okay? And this might sound so narcissistic, and you might hate us for saying all this stuff, but like, in reality, like, there are a couple thousand people listening to us every week. And I think we live in a place that's like, people come to travel to. I work at a bar off of Broadway.
Right.
In my brain, I'm like, what happens if like, and I don't think about this like on shift, but it's like sometimes like just like pops in my head, and I'm like, what if someone like would walk in here and be like, are you?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be like,
yeah.
And then I'm gonna feel like I have to give you everything for free.
Yeah, that's true.
like that's what I was like thinking.
I don't think anybody's gonna run into me at my work.
No, but that's where I'm saying, like, I'm not even thinking like me just at a coffee shop trying to like live my life.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like me at work, like, and that happening. And I don't want to say that's embarrassing, because it's not embarrassing at all, but it's also like, I don't know. I think like the reality of it, to be like, we still both work full-time jobs and do it. I think that people, it's also like a whole thing. But anyway. So I'm gonna kind of want to take a little moment
trip down memory lane.
Yeah, if you might say.
Yeah.
In this episode, to kind of go over some like high points or low points that like we've enjoyed or hated about this process. Yeah. Honestly, like, so I don't know. Go ahead. You can start.
So I just like wrote a couple things down today. I was like, so I took it all the way back to the start, and like I didn't re-listen to anything because I can't.
I can't. Maybe one day if I'm highly medicated.
No, I never will. Unless somebody forces me against my will, because I did go back and listen to that first episode that one time.
Nope.
I will never go back ever again.
That would be like my demon in the corner, having to like listen to that.
It was actually horrible, because also the voice I was using was so fake. Like, it's not my real talk. Yes. It was very much my customer service voice. It was very bad.
Well, we both were.
Yeah.
And it was scripted.
Yeah, it was.
Our first episode was scripted. And
like
I don't
99%.
I don't think that we ever like
said that.
I don't think we've ever said that. Our first episode was completely scripted, and we
because we didn't have video.
And we did it twice.
Yeah, and we also didn't have video, so there was no like, you know, accountability for that. No. Like, we could just like have our laptop up and be reading shit.
No, but our first couple episodes, we had full on episode outlines.
Yeah, that were very detailed.
Very detailed, very like, yeah.
If I miss that point, I'm going to pause us and touch it.
And like, oh, I forgot to say this. And we'd be like, okay, go back.
And then the episode would be like almost 2 hours before I would go cut and edit it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've come a long way since then. But so our first episode was called, and you titled this one, Why Boys Just Don't Get It. And it was about why dating in your 20s sucks. And so the first thing I want to say on this is how, if you go back and look at our old episodes, like, we were still trying to figure out what this was and like what we wanted this to be.
At the time,
and we knew that like sex sold, like sold, and we knew that that's like, you know, we were trying to like cultivate that same type of audience. I think that like Call Her Daddy had, because we were also in our party girl era.
We were in party girl era, but we wanted to be like, we're real girls. We're this.
we were pick me as fuck.
Well, yeah.
And so the first episode, I just thought it was funny because it was like, why dating in your 20s sucks. And it's kind of the theme in like our first few episodes. And like sprinkled here and there, we do it because like we know it's what you guys want to know sometimes. It's like about dating or boys or whatever. Because it's like, okay, at the end of the day, like most of us are probably like dating men. Not all of us, but I would say probably a big majority of our audiences. So it's like they want to know that stuff.
Our audience is dating, and relationships are a huge part of life, whether it's friendships or like romantic partnerships. Like relationships are that's the whole sole reason of going to therapy. So like if we didn't have relationships, we wouldn't have therapy, and that's the point of this, right? But like at the time it was like very about boys,
right? And I just thought it was funny because like literally so many of our episodes were about men, and I just think that's so funny how today like we have so decentralized men in our life that like even the idea of dating to you and I is just so unimportant in our lives.
I just think it's crazy that like I think the difference though is that like the value in which we hold for ourselves is different. I don't even think like the concept of dating. I just think the value of like our lives and like what we're trying to find for ourselves and like build for ourselves. And like at that time though, being 23, like we're fresh out of college, we're in our party girl era, like going out, making out with boys, doing the thing is what we're doing. And I think that that's the difference. It's not necessarily like dating and like that. It's just I think overall the era that we were in is just so different.
Well, also like for me at least, like I got a lot of my validation from men still. So like not that I needed it, but I thought I needed it. So like everything that I was talking about like still revolved around men. Because that was important for me to validate myself. Now I don't really need that anymore. Obviously I don't. I haven't been touched by a man, and I am so touch deprived. It's been like over a year at this point.
Oh God, I can't even think about that right now because I just literally got my period 20 minutes ago, and to me that sounds like like literally I'm gonna go make puppy chow after this, which is like, do you know what that is?
Yeah.
So my mom used to make that when we were younger, and as I was grocery shopping, I was like, I need it. I need it now.
One time I ate way too much of that, and like me and like one of my really good friends, we ate way too much of it at like 2 different periods in our life. But there was a point in our life where we were both so disgusted by it because we were like oh God, it's like I ate it till I was sick once. No, the same thing happened to her.
My plan for tonight is I'm going to eat that, light a pumpkin candle, and watch a movie. Maybe not a movie. That's it. That was extreme. The thing is, the movie part sounded good. Yeah, it was like the character I want to play, but I'm not that girl.
You know, it's actually a good movie that I think you would like because it's like a comedy. It's lighthearted. It's like a mockumentary style is the way they filmed it, and it's called Theater Camp. It's on Hulu. And it's with the guy from, he's like Cody Ko's friend. Fuck, what is his name? He like does all the like frat guy personas. He was big on Vine, and he was the real Bros of Simi Valley. Like he produced that. Yeah. He's like the lead guy in this movie. And the guy from Pitch Perfect is also
Netflix,
in it.
There's like this new, or it's not a new show at all, but I just found out about it. So to me, it's new. But there's a show about like inmates in Australia, and it's almost like an Orange is the New Black like type thing, but it's like in Australia.
Oh, but it's fiction. It's not like real. Oh, yeah.
So like, and this one girl at work was telling me about it, how good it was, and I was like, I might start that. That's what I was thinking. Anyway, back to the topic. So on that like note, in the beginning of our like podcast, we wanted to kind of do like, and we only I think ever did like 1, maybe 2 of these ever. But mini episodes. We wanted to like take like 20 minutes, like hone in.
That was before we had a YouTube channel.
Yeah, that was before we had a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And it was like to hone in on like very, very, very specific things that we've like already touched on in an episode, but like really wanted to go in depth. I blacked
those out.
Okay, so we did a mini episode, and the first one we did was how to play the game. So it was like how to play the game with men. So like to your point, it was also on like
not us giving like thinking we are so hot, like giving the advice
and it was like, funny because like I just read like the description of it, and I was like, oh my
like,
God,
who do we think we
if
were?
I could go back and erase that episode, I would, because like honestly, like just growing up, like the game is that there is no game.
Yeah,
like
you cannot try hard and you can't not try hard. You just have to be yourself.
No, and I think that like if I remember correctly, I think that we actually do touch on that in the whole thing, but it's also like the like texting back, like we were like all onto like that stuff of like the do this, do that, blah blah blah. And I now it's just like be yourself. Like either you're with it or you're not.
Yeah.
And like we're gonna figure it out in between.
100%.
So like I don't know, I saw that and I said
cringe.
But I think it was crazy because like we want to do like this whole mini episode thing and like just completely like nix that out.
You've been an OG listener, you've known we've tried a lot of different little segments.
Even if you went back, a lot of you have like reached out onto the Instagram and have told us that you started from the beginning, and God bless your ears, because
we've said that a couple times. Like I just don't want to hear it. Like if you've done that, that's fine, but don't tell me. Like keep that shit to yourself.
No, it's okay,
offense,
but like it's
no
crazy.
Offense,
but
keep that shit to yourself.
I'm just saying that they're like for sure gonna understand that like we've tried a lot of things.
Yeah,
like you can hear it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, there was that little thing for me, and I said, "Whew,
that's so funny." Okay, so this is just like a quick like this. We can kind of just say it and then move on. But I wrote down the craziest description. So I read all the copy for all of our podcast descriptions, and you could tell like I was just trying really hard. Now in the descriptions they're like 2 lines. It's like this week the girls do this. Okay, bye. Like that's it, because it's like very how we are now. But at this time I was trying so hard. This is the craziest thing I wrote. I wrote this down. This is on our dating horror stories. Or no, this is So You Hooked Up with a Guy. The name of this episode. This happened basically a year ago, 2/10/2022. This isn't your average Valentine's Day episode. No chocolates, no flowers, no date. The girls are talking about dick. Like I didn't even put like asterisks or anything.
The girls are talking about dick.
So cringy.
It is.
It is so cringy. Bad. And I was like trying like so hard. I was like, this isn't your average Valentine's Day episode. No chocolates, no flowers, no date. The girls are talking about dick. Like, ew, who are you? That's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing. This is the thing though about the podcast is like this is
the thing though about social media in general. You are going to cringe the fuck out the first time you post something. And then you're also going to cringe the fuck out when you go back and watch the old shit you posted. Because even to this day, I'll go scroll through my personal TikTok and go archive old videos. Because I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I'm sure in 3 months from now, I'll do that of the videos I'm making right now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it just happens. And like, at the end of the day, we all grow. And our old versions of ourselves are embarrassing. And that is a fact.
Right, but I think the personal development through it all is like
what's it's
really
all
amazing.
Character development at the end of the day.
So one of like our early on episodes, we have a lot of them also like relate to boys and stuff, but this one I was like trying to get away from it. I was like, okay, what's something? Mm-hmm. It's called Work Sucks, I Know.
Oh yeah,
and it's so funny because
that was like the start of the complaining about your. We just had a light go out. Give us 1 second. Okay, we're back.
But we were like, oh.
Yeah.
No, so to go back, this is the
Work Sucks, I Know. This was also my very big like punk rock era.
Yeah. But this is like I look back on this episode and it's so funny because I think this is like the first time I shared like how I wasn't happy at work.
No, that's what I was saying. Like this was the first moment of you like talking about your job and like how you were like unhappy in your job.
Right. And it was so like obviously at the time I needed the job, right? So at the same time it was very like,
censored.
It was very censored, like, and I knew, but like I didn't know how much my work was like completely consuming every single millisecond of our content that we put out. So
yeah, there's a lot. I was gonna say like probably like over 15 episodes where it's like not we talked about your work, but we talked about like stuff in your life that was results from you being unhappy in your job.
Yeah.
But we didn't like at the time I don't think the dots were connected that it was like your job that was making you unhappy.
Well, even I know,
but we weren't like verbalizing it.
I wasn't verbalizing it because they were heavily watching our content. And I think it's funny
they weren't until they were.
Yes. Yeah. And it's so funny because like now I was actually thinking about this when I was like writing this down earlier. I was like, I actually want to fully talk about it. And we don't have to fully talk about it on this episode, but like I think it would be like such a breath of fresh air for somebody to hear the shit that my company put me through.
Yeah.
From start to finish. And then what they tried to blame on me, which was just simply that I have an extracurricular outside of work that they just don't like. And
that was also like me. Like they wouldn't even use you directly because they were trying to make it seem like they weren't mad at you.
Yeah, no, they would be like use examples from Emily and be like, well, she said this. I'm like, she doesn't work for you. But
also it's like at the end of the day, it's still my thing. So like, just tell me that it's me. Stop trying to like passive aggressively tell me. And that's
every single time that they had a conversation with me, which was a lot, I would tell them, I'd be like, okay, well, or they'd be like, can you take this down? Can you erase this episode? Can you remove this or take down this TikTok? And we didn't remove a single goddamn thing because fuck you, number one.
Like, who are you? Who are manager? You? Like, what?
And even if you're not my who are you? Like, what I do outside of work has nothing to do with you. And
you don't have your work attached to anything.
I disassociated everything from my work. Yeah. So like, it doesn't fucking matter. And like, also, it's like part of like freedom of speech, and in law, you could do nothing to me.
Yeah.
If anything, I could do anything to you because you were harassing me at a certain point.
And there was nothing in your terms of work that said you couldn't do this.
Right. So there was that. But every single time that they try to talk to me about it, like obviously you can tell I'm very passionate about the subject. But like every single time that they try to talk to me about it, they would blame Emily, and they'd be like, so can you take this? I'm like, well, so we own this business together. So
well, and also when Kellen first told me that, I go, no offense, dude, I'm not taking shit down. And like that was like a hard thing for me to say because I'm very much a like, I'll do what you need me to do.
Yeah.
But like not
and I never asked you to.
No, I know you didn't, but like you were saying like how they were like about me, and I literally looked you dead in the eyes and I go, I'm not taking shit down.
No, because I was like, this is so stupid. But seriously, one day, like I would sit down and actually like, get into like the whole like nitty gritty of it because honestly, it's actually wild. And I genuinely think that a lot of people listening could resonate to like just a very, very toxic workplace and environment.
Like getting validation that like that's not normal. And like also feeling like, okay, this is grounds for me to quit my job.
Right. And it happened I did that for 3 years, and the past year and a half was probably the worst.
Yeah.
Because like the sugar coating, like the lenses come off at some point.
Yeah.
Like rose colored glasses definitely go. And
and all these empty promises that I think that they had like positioned for you were never came to fruition. So I think that was another thing where you were like, okay, well, fuck this.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, me being a female at their workplace was a problem. Yeah. And for that, I had to leave because like you can come at me and my extracurriculars and whatever the fuck you want to come at me for. But like the fact that I'm a female in your industry and you do not care to protect me as a female who works for you, that's where I'm going to have to draw the line.
Well, especially when you like you yourself represent something that is so strongly aligned with women and feminist like ideology. Like, how could you allow yourself to be put in that position? Like, it would like go back on your own morals too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, we'll move on because I could talk about this for literal hours, but I think it'd be a fun podcast episode for you guys. Mm-hmm. But I saw that today and I was like, also, damn, if you guys only knew.
Also, because like, yeah, I could talk too about like my like internship I had before I went to grad school because it was very similar in terms of like.
You posted the picture today about that, and I was like, that's so funny.
I barely censored the name of the company, but like you could tell by what I was wearing. Like if you knew anything about that industry, it'd take you 2 seconds.
Yeah, because of the color too.
Right.
But anyway,
fuck y'all and fuck.
But it's okay because
corporate America.
We're both in a better place for it.
So. 1000%. Okay, so one of my favorite episode topics I wrote down, and I thought this was like one of our like most like. This was kind of like the turning point for like where our content started to go, where it was more centric around like our actual lives and like what we wanted to talk about outside of like what we thought people wanted to do. Because there was a long time where like we were doing stuff that we thought people wanted to hear instead of just doing stuff that like we wanted to talk about. And that episode was it was called Learning How to Do Adult Stuff. And we literally just talked about like all the shit that like you realize like as like young adults, like once you finally like move out or whatever, that like you didn't really either know how to do or like you just assumed like you would figure out, but you realize like nobody teaches you to do. And so I really like that episode because like a lot of people like on TikTok or like on social media and stuff, like we got good responses from that, and that was before we had blown up. So like that was the first moment for me where like I saw like, okay, I can talk about what I want to talk about and people will still like it.
Well, and that's so my next thing for this was like to coincide. My moment of that was the Gross Girl episodes.
I wrote that
because for me, like, that was probably one of the most vulnerable episodes outside of talking about sex. But like to me, talking about sex is like another topic like in my daily life.
And also sex for us, when we talk about it, it's all in the past tense.
Right.
Where it's like gross girl stuff is we are actively admitting that we do this day to day.
Right. And I think that like the fact that that was like the first thing that like blew up for us was Gross Girls. And we still get people all the time asking us for more Gross Girl episodes.
Yeah.
And like, if you were here from that era, love you, applaud you, thank you. Like, y'all are the best, because that is where I genuinely think in my brain we found our niche.
Yeah.
Is because
we've definitely found our audience there.
Because I definitely, like, to your point, like, I felt like I was like, okay, wow, I just talked about things that I do day to day that are like so normal to me, and it felt so easy and natural. And like our vibe of those episodes, like, has kind of like cultivated where we are now.
Yeah,
and
totally.
I think that is the cool thing of it all. It's just like those 2 episodes specifically were just very like let the guard down. Of
hopefully people like it.
Yeah.
Hopefully this gets the resignation with people that were wanting.
And honestly,
it too.
when we made those 2 episodes, Emily and I were probably the most embarrassed of those episodes going out, and the most like.
Also, we were just coming off of a time too, of like intense cyberbullying, which like Kellen didn't really see as much because she's not like running our TikTok, which like I'm happy she didn't, but like we had a couple videos from earlier episodes like somehow like resurface on TikTok like popularity wise in a negative way. And so for these especially, I was really nervous to put them out on TikTok because I was like, is this gonna go like these other videos did and go to the wrong side of TikTok?
Yeah.
And I was just nervous for that because I was like, I can't go through that again. Like reading that shit about myself and like the DMs from people telling me to like kill myself and like fucking that I deserve to get SA'd and like all this stuff, because we literally posted a 15-second TikTok video like talking about having standards for men. And so with this being like, oh, so you're nasty and disgusting and you think that men should do X, Y, and Z. Like I was really afraid. And so the fact that they didn't and had the opposite effect, I was like, okay, we're good. Like, and we can keep moving forward. And that definitely gave me like confidence in this.
Oh, 100%.
Because like there was a moment like I texted you and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
Like social media wise, I was like, I don't know if I can keep doing this. Like,
and like this is like, I think also sharing like the good and the bad, like we're saying like those are the episodes we absolutely love and I would never take down no matter what ever happens. Like those are things I think that like women of every single age group can resonate with. And I think that that's why those are the most valuable episodes, because it doesn't matter how old you are. Those are things that like everybody felt comfortable and like where we also got our like friend like vibe, and like I felt like I was talking to my friends on FaceTime and I'm hanging out with my girls, and like I'm so happy that I listened to you guys because I don't have friends like this, or like I'm gonna show my 14-year-old daughter this because I don't
know
like,
how to talk about this with her.
Those are like the most cool things. But like on the other side, I know that people talk about this all the time, but like also I think at our capacity or like at our level, people don't expect it. Like because the amount of just utter hate and disrespect that we got from people is wild, while also seeing success at the same time. But like they say, any publicity is good publicity. So.
Literally. So that I wrote down that as well. I said the episode that changed everything, and then I wrote down the rise of the gross girl, and then right after that episode, like 2 weeks later, we had that episode to come out called Girls Masturbate Too.
I have that on
and
here.
It's just like, for once, talking positively about like discovering your own like sensuality within your sexuality as a woman, and how it's like sex in general is a very negative thing talked about towards women. It's almost like, don't do it or you're a slut. Like, don't masturbate.
If you
That's
do it too
weird.
much, you're a slut. If you do it too little, you're
prude.
Yeah.
Like, and there's so many rules. It seems like society puts on women for sexuality specifically, but especially with like self-pleasure is very not talked about. With guys, it's so normal. It's like, oh, I jacked off today. I did that. Girls don't talk about, I mean, in that episode, we talk about how like we didn't actively talk to our friends about masturbating until like college. Because like, and I remember like, and I remember saying this in the episode, but like I was the first one out of any of my friends to talk about masturbating. It was like in high school. And they were like, what? You masturbate? I was like, of course. What do you mean? How do you not? They're like, well, I just never have. And I'm like, that's so crazy to me. Yeah. But like, I think that's just like, that was a cool episode as well. And it did really well on our YouTube channel comparatively to our other videos because like you said, it was like, it's not talked about ever. So to see people talking about it and be like, oh, this is normal. It's okay. And like you said, it was women who were literally like older, which interpret that how you will. But like to me, an older woman is like in her 40s because I'm 25. So no offense. But like there were like 40-year-old women literally commenting on our video being like, I have never even talked to this with my friends.
Or like, I've never tried this because I grew up in an era where like, it wasn't
the only pleasure I should get is from my partner.
Right. Yeah. And like, I'm so excited to like, that's where we started also getting the things of like, I want to show this to my daughter or their friends. I want to have them watch it. And like, those things were like so cool and so rewarding. And in those moments, that's when like, I am so thankful that we do this. Yeah. And like, we've continued to do this. And although like our topics sometimes are just like very loose and we talk and it doesn't matter and they're he, but like I'm so happy that we have a platform where like women can come to feel safe. Yeah. And I think that those episodes and like specifically were just very like altering to how we thought about this. Yeah. And I think that was important.
Yeah, I agree.
So this is like a change of little pace we have here, but something that like Emily and I love and have always loved and loved in the past, I think a little bit more than we do at this moment, but celebrity gossip and celebrity news. And there was an era where we had monthly mayhem. And it got to the point where Emily and I were like, this is so intense. We don't even care that much. But
also like, it's not even that we didn't care that much. It was like,
we put on a production. If you go to our first like YouTube videos of it, we like brought my old kitchen table up the stairs to this room.
Like a kitchen island.
To this room, set up a whole different thing, try to make it like a news station. Like we tried so
yeah,
hard.
added like a different theme song in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like we made graphics for
the era too where like Emily had, what was the like little like thing like we did inside our podcast in the beginning where we used your voice?
Oh, let's get into this week's. It was like recommendation.
Yeah, something like that. It was like weird. Anyway, same era.
Yeah, like, where we thought we needed to like have different bits, segments and bits and God,
it just didn't work for us. But like no, monthly mayhem. It was a very love-hate. Like I love it because like I love celebrity news, celebrity gossip, and if you go back and listen to them, I'm the niche bitch. Like I get so into like the little things, which like wink wink, hint hint, another Easter egg for what's come. But like I am so into like the most like random celebrity gossip and facts. Yeah. Emily is like, what's going on with Jay-Z and Beyonce and what's going on with Drake, and I couldn't give two fucks. But the Chrisleys, you better believe I know every fucking fact about what's going on. Right. Like David Dobrik
I think that
scandal?
Was the issue with monthly mayhem. It's like consistently month over month, not that much shit was happening with these like micro influencer or micro celebrities. So we got to this point where we were like,
for a minute there was a whole era, but I honestly at one point I think we just basically ripped off BFFs for like
literally,
a minute.
Literally, and that's what I told you. I was like, but we're just like not like we both were like we're just not like a drama podcast.
It was nice to switch it up at the time. Yeah, but like, oh my god, monthly mayhem, that was a thing.
Also, they just didn't perform well. like nobody cared.
Yeah, because you got it from everywhere else first. We would do it a month after shit happened.
Literally,
like we were doing.
It was like bringing shit up that happened like the first day of the
and the way that like
month.
social media is like unless you're talking about it that day, no one
here
gives
today,
a
gone
fuck.
tomorrow. Yeah, exactly. So
like,
it was just like so funny too, because like Kellen said, like I'm like the numbers person, and so like I'm like looking at the like
we would always
statistics, and I was like, these just like don't do well.
Yeah, no, they didn't that way, but also like we would have people reach out and be like, wow, I actually didn't know this much about certain things, which was also kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So that was like a period in time of just like another example of us trying shit that like just didn't really like work out.
Yeah. That's okay. Do you have more?
That's like all I wrote down.
Okay. So I have a couple more, but like 2 more that like I definitely would want to like go more in depth about. So I'm just gonna do those 2. Our performative sex versus mature sex episodes. We had 2 back to back. And I think like those 2 were probably still my like favorite episodes.
I think they were ahead of their time.
That we ever made.
Yeah.
Because we talked about it in such a mature way. And like the first one was like very factual and funny and whatever. And then like the next one, like, because we talked about performative sex first and then mature sex in the second episode, like part 1, part 2. And anybody who like asked me like now at work or like new people I meet and they're like, so like where should I start? That's where I say to start. Because I think for us, that was like the form of how we do our podcast now.
Right.
Like the comfortability factor of it, I think like there was a huge like switch there, and we started to like have our groove together in those episodes.
Yeah.
And that was an episode that we had like loosely outlined, but it was definitely one of the first where it was like so loosely outlined and we just riffed and it worked.
Yeah.
And so many people at this time, like that's when I had my shoulder surgery, like a month after. And
that just seems like, you know, what's weird is like your shoulder surgery doesn't seem like that long ago, but that episode seems like so long ago.
It was a year ago.
Yeah.
So I was probably like 4 weeks into rehab, and everyone at my rehab facility like found out that I had a podcast because I think I wore like my sweatshirt in there one day. They're like, what is this? And I told them. And those dropped and they all listened to them, even the guys. And they were like, that was funny and that was great. And they were all like, do you have merch? And I gave them all,
I will
like,
say that
stuff.
those episodes were the first episodes that men told us that we were funny.
Yes.
So like for us, we were like, okay, if even guys are saying that we're funny, like we not
have
just
something here.
Yeah, well, like we're not just like egotistical like narcissists. Like there's at least some chemistry that we're portraying on camera that like people enjoy.
Well, I also think that's where we like became level-headed when it came to that topic of sex.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time that we showed like an even playing field from women to men or women to women or whatever. Like it was a very like not he said, she said, or like fuck men, fuck this. It was just like funny.
Yeah.
Because it was just like everyone thinks these things, but no one says them. So anyway, I like though if I ever run into anybody and they ask me like, oh, you have a podcast, and they're like, what should I listen to? That's where I say to start. So if you haven't listened to those yet, go back. Those are probably my 2 favorite episodes.
Really? I don't know what my favorite episode
I wouldn't say like they're my favorite, but I think for us, like chemistry wise, if you're gonna start somewhere and you want like a backlog, starting there to up is where I would say to go to. The last thing that I have on here though, that's like not topic related, is our Halloween episode last year. So Emily and I did shrooms probably like
we did
shrooms like 3 days 4 days before doing that episode. And the reason that we did it the way that we did was because we were tripping balls downstairs. And had everything decorated for Halloween down there. And we like brought our lights from down, like, because when we were like tripping, we had like our lights down there and we were like, this is fucking sick. Like, we love this. Blah, blah, blah. Like, we literally fell in love with my living room. I don't know why. So we were like, you know, if you've ever taken shrooms, and we took enough to like feel them and be like funny, but we weren't like tripping balls, right? Like, but it made us like very creative. It gave us like a creative spark like this time last year. Yeah. Okay. We were like in the same lull that we've been in the past couple of months. Which is funny because like literally a couple days ago, I was like, I need to do shrooms again because like I'm in a lull. I don't know why. I'm just like, I feel like I need it. Right. So it makes sense. It's been a year. It's been a year. So I was like, we were downstairs. We made this whole plan for our podcast episode in 3 days. And we took chairs downstairs, which at the time we had a pink couch up here that we sat on and we were like uncomfy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We took 2 chairs downstairs, a light, and we just made it fun. Like we had fun. And this was the first time we like held our microphones, and the first time we like had a whole different like,
dude, holding the microphones changed it for us.
And it was a whole different like demeanor to the podcast. And I mean that goes into like then the performative sex, like that comes like after it, you know, like those episodes were like after the fact.
That's so weird. Like in my head that seems so long ago.
I know, but the thing to me is like I'm so appreciative of that Halloween episode because it's got us to the studio, it's got us to here, it's got us to like our flow, our vibe, like everything changed in that. I mean, thanks to shrooms, and I don't think you should ever say thank you to the drugs, but
so if there's one thing to take away from this episode,
if you are watching the YouTube version right now, we have a shroom pillow next to Emily, and that's like partly the reason is because like this studio that you're viewing right now is because we did shrooms.
We sound like men who discover empathy for the first time. We're
but
it's
like
crazy if you just like think about somebody else's life, like you can care about them,
right? That's kind of,
but it's like us with like creativity with shrooms.
It's what we were getting. But like honestly, that's just like truly
that's
like,
so funny. Like I completely forgot that was like what changed the setup in the studio.
So we did it for that, and then we did it for Christmas, and then that's when we decided we had to switch over.
To chairs.
Like to chairs, and to like do the whole like holding microphones and making like, which we're still not even like done decorating, but I think we just kind of like have gotten to like the flow of life, but like it was just like making each of our sides like comfy and cozy and more us, and making it more appealing to like us to be comfortable and want to do it. And I think that's also like a good part to where we are today, but also a bad part because we are so comfortable like when we're in here to just like blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
But no, that episode is like, I don't know.
I love that episode.
I look back at that and I'm like, damn, that was it. That was it. Like, and not that I already said like there was other episodes where like I had different validations in this, but like that was the validation of like our chemistry and like the flow of like who we are today. Like it brought it up to speed. And I just thought that was cool.
I have like multiple, and I think it's because I edit these. So like
if we're talking about the YouTube channel, it'd be so different.
Right. Like I have so many instances where I will text Kellen, like right after I edit an episode, I'm like, this is the one. This is my favorite one. Like I have like so many of those because there's so many times when I'm editing where it's like you said, it's like I can, as a listener, like I try to edit these as like a outside person who like doesn't know us. So I'm like, okay, like I don't take anything out of these anymore. I used to, but like now I don't. So when I'm editing them, I also use that time as like a time of like giving myself feedback. Okay, where I'm like, okay, well maybe next time like we don't need to harp so much on X, Y, and Z. Like let's not be so preachy, and like in this next episode, like let's hold our mics differently, like whatever. Because like I also use that as like a time for like
growth.
Reflection. But there's so many moments where I'll be like listening to an episode and I'm like, damn, like this was something that we were meant to do. Because like in my head, I'm like, I wish I had somebody like this in my life, or somebody I could listen to that was like this, that wasn't like already a famous person. Because I think that's what's so hard, especially with like people like Emma Chamberlain or whatever. And that's why I feel like she gets a lot of shit now, because people are like, Emma Chamberlain's discussing stuff that I realized at 14 years old, because like, hello, like everybody who isn't super rich or famous knows these things, but for her it's like this huge epiphany of like discovery of like, oh, my mental health matters, like whatever. But it's like, it's just different. And so if like for us to be like two normal adults too, like we're not kids, you know what I mean, like who have like different views on life, because we do have normal ass fucking jobs, and like this is just like a side thing that we're doing to one day hopefully turn into our main thing. But like I think that's just like so cool too, like as when I'm listening to it objectively, I'm like, okay, this is something that we're meant to keep doing. Like don't stop. Like even if it seems like we've been saying the past couple of weeks, we've just been like in the grind, like it's been very mundane, we haven't been feeling creative. But like when I had like that wake up call of being like, okay, we need to like get back into the swing of things.
We both knew it, but neither of us wanted to say
I just had to like audibly say it out loud. And then I like texted Kellen and was like, okay, this is what we need to do. Like, let's make a plan. Then we get together and it's just like, boom, like the spark is back again.
Right. And it was what we needed.
Yeah.
Like, and because we both were feeling it, we both knew it, we just didn't want to say it.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so thank you for like bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm also just thankful that like this is like my next thing that I actually wrote down as like not podcast like topics. I like thought of things that were like that in the past 2 years. Like, I'm grateful for doing this with you.
Yeah.
Because like I am able, like we're both able to be like, that wasn't it. Let's redo it. The amount of times we've redone episodes, like we'll sit down and be like, that didn't hit.
Yeah.
We need to come back and revisit this.
Yeah.
Or like leaving here and like both coming in with like just bad, grumpy moods from work, and then being like, coming out of it and being like, that was so like riveting and stimulating, and like I love this. Like,
it's so funny these nights, like I can't go to bed.
No.
After we record this, like I'm so like serotonin
it's
pumping,
just flying.
Like, yeah.
It's flying. And like I just think like, honestly, it sounds like weird, but like I've recently been going to the gym after we do this because I'm like ready to go. Like, day started, like whatever. So like I'm so thankful for that. But then also like to be able to always be on the same page. Like, we're able to like speak to each other in a way where it's like validating.
Right.
And I think that that's so important. And so like, I don't know, I feel like you don't get that often. And to have a business partner that you can do that with is a blessing.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to, it's like a mutual level of respect that we have for one another. And I think a lot of times in like friendships or relationships, like subconsciously, like you don't have the same level of respect for somebody, like whether you mean to or not. I feel like sometimes it just happens, like you don't even realize it. But I think we went into this thing like both respecting each other's vision, like what each other wants out of it. Because I think that's like a big thing too with like any business that you're starting with somebody. It's like, if you guys aren't on the same page, like at some point it's gonna divulge and it's gonna be hard to like bring it back together.
Well, the fact that like we're always willing to pivot, and like we've already mentioned multiple times, like you could see that in the progression of our podcast and like our media, everything that we have out, like is just growing, and you can see like the difference in it from start to finish. Not that it's finished, but like where we are today. And I think like that is like a really cool thing. But then also like, obviously Emily and I talk about like our mental health a lot, not in depth. And we probably will never talk about it in depth for free on the internet because I'm sorry, I just won't.
I pay my therapist way too much.
Yeah, like sorry, babe. Like, I'm not talking about it for free, but we definitely are like honest with you guys. Like, we're in lows, we're in highs, like things we're dealing with, like maybe not to the full extent, but like we're honest in that regard. And I think that it's been such a blessing to also have someone understand, like when I have been going through depressive moments and I didn't even know it yet, for you to also know and be like, okay, I got this, and vice versa. Like, just being able to like be that, like, I get it,
like pick up the slack, or not even the slack, but like help when things need to be helped, and like almost like we don't even have to say it, like we just know, and we're able to like pick that up for one another. Because like there's been times where it's been me or it's been you, and it's like that's just how life is, and that's how shit happens. But like that's how it is, like when you are working with somebody that like you do get, and like you're also like, the thing about our relationship is like we became business partners almost before we became like deep, meaningful friends. Like we knew each other and like we were cool, but like I didn't know that much about you before we like started a business
like we've grown
together.
A relationship being business partners.
And I think what that's also taught me too, like our friendship specifically, is like we've never had an immature stage of our friendship. We've always had a very mature friendship, and I think that has taught me how to be a better friend to people that I don't have a business with, because like I've realized like what's important out of a friendship, because there's a lot of time that we spend together that we are unable to devote to a friendship. So when we are just friends, it's like fitting that into a certain period of time or whatever has like taught me like how to be better friends to other people in my life.
Being intentional with like my time with friends is definitely like, and I think like to your point of this being like in a very mature, different level of mature friendship is just like, I think it's just like very important because in my other other friendships and relationships, like is just like the over like, I don't want to say like oversharing or over like dramatizing my life to my friends and being like, this is the fucking worst. And now I'm like, nobody cares.
Yeah.
No, like, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I just feel like there's a parts of it too where it's just like, it's helped me mature in other ways of just being a friend and not being a selfish friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think like my point is like, we can still have like a level of respect and like a mutual understanding and like get together. Like you said, when we are together, it's like just valuable to be together. And like, before, I just don't think I got enough of that from other friends.
Yeah. No, I totally.
And now you're like, both of us are like, okay, like that's a lot of time with that person. And I love ya, but like,
well, I think that's also shown me too that like
we have a very simple friendship, and I think that that's valued. Like,
deep
but simple.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like, I think a big part of like what we've done and what we have like accomplished as business partners also has like shown me too that like you can like have deep meaningful friendships with people that like you are really similar to or really different from and still do this on the side. Like there is really no excuse to be a bad friend because like not that we've had every obstacle ever, but like there has been multiple times within this that like it would have really been easy to just like get petty or like get catty or get jealous or like do whatever. And like it's just never happened because like it's not that deep. Like at the end of the day, like we have to keep this thing afloat. So it's like not worth it.
No.
And so that's also given me a lot of perspective in other friendships where I'm like, I don't care to like get upset about X, Y, and Z because like I know you have a life outside of this. Yeah. Where it's like before with a lot of my friends, like I would get really upset or like my feelings would be hurt if I was like left out of whatever. And now I'm realizing like everybody has their own life. Yeah. And you're not the center of everybody's world. Right. And you shouldn't be.
No, I agree. Like, I don't know. There's just been a lot of value in this process with inside the podcast. Yeah. And outside. Yeah. That's just been so valuable that like I don't think I would ever at our age
I would say
think that I would have learned.
I also would say too, like maturity wise, I've matured a lot because of this. And I think that has a lot to do with like also like you guys and like our audience because whether it's 100 people or 10,000 people, somebody is depending on you every week to talk and to put something out and to be relatable and to have something that they can go watch and to rely on for
and feel that comfort.
Exactly. And so like that has also helped me grow up a lot. It's not just about you anymore.
No, and I'm not gonna lie, like a huge struggle for me, like also this goes back to like us like not having proper equipment and stuff like and not having like everything we should have probably to like be at a different level in like content creation wise. Yeah. But like there's times where I'm like I just don't want to. Yeah. I genuinely just do not want to edit this. And I'm sure you've had those moments too where it's like I couldn't give two fucks if I just like threw it together and put it out right now. Yeah. Like that's just I'm so tired, I'm drained, like me, my life is difficult and no one understands. Like, like that's like the moment that you're in and you're like, I don't give a fuck. But then like I have to take a step back and be like, not only is Emily depending on me to get this out, but so is somebody else. Yeah. Is waiting for that moment. Yeah. And I think like to your point, like it's, life isn't about me. And I have to like understand that sometimes. And I don't think we all understand that ever. Until certain moments, but it's just
it's almost like we have a bunch of kids, you know. I feel like when people are like I have kids so I can't just be selfish and whatever, not that you guys are our kids, but sometimes it feels like that parasocial relationship we have with these, and a lot of you guys like I mean you guys DM us and like a lot of you guys DM us on our personal accounts
like, all the time.
Yeah. And like react with all of our own stories on our personal accounts. So it's like at some level it's like we have a relationship with you as well. Yeah. And so it's like I can't let you down. Like because that's gonna make me hate myself. Yeah. Like I'm gonna be so sad at myself if I make you sad.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's a whole other level. But I don't know. This has just been a really cool, fun 2 years, even in the lulls. But like, it's seriously been a crazy.
It's always
ride.
been a positive light in both of our lives.
Both of us. Like it's something that's like as comforting as it is for you guys. It's just as comforting for us.
Yeah, because sitting here too, and like, I mean, we both are in therapy, and so we do have like an outlet for that. But this also gives us a untraditional outlet, but it's an outlet nonetheless of like creativity, of a way to validate ourselves and our emotions and whatever. And so like this has also helped me a lot mentally, and like I've shared so much, and you have too, but like with my own struggles with like substances and everything that I've been going through like this past year with my sobriety and like everything, and like people being so supportive of that, and like I don't know, it's just been awesome. And like that was my biggest fear with like telling people about it, because like I know there was a time when we were very much like party girl, go out, get drunk era, and so I was like really scared that like if I opened up about that, we would lose people who came for that type of content and those stories and those crazy nights and like whatever. And like if we did, I don't really care, like, because that's not the type of people that I would want.
But I also think it's interesting because I believe the community that we've like made or have found us is like that.
Yeah.
Like they are like very much about that, or like didn't think about that, or like excited that like we have touched on it because like they thought this, it validates them. And I think that's the important part.
Yeah, totally. Well, I guess the last thing to wrap this up is like I brought a gift for you.
She stays doing this.
It's kind of a gag gift.
Okay.
But
it's wrapped cute though.
Yeah, I keep a bunch of these like cardboard. So it's.
I hate you
So for our audio only listeners, I packed 2 big sentimental things. The first one is a t-shirt that we had made that we wore
in our cover art today.
On our cover art for our podcast.
I'm done.
They're fugly crop tops. And the second one is our first ever thing that we made for a photo shoot that we did for the podcast, and it is a sweatshirt with our old font and our old colors, which is like this salmon pink and like chocolate brown. Jesus. And it's a sweatshirt that I got off of Amazon that we used printer paper and ironed on our name
in this room. And like a couple weeks ago I posted it because it came up that like we did that.
Oh,
we took those pictures,
yeah.
And I was like, oh,
it's so funny. But I just thought I would give that to you because I'm hoping and manifesting for 2024 that there's like big things to come for this, but I'd never want us to forget but that's where we started, and I want to frame.
The thing is, I still have these 2.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you take yours.
I'm gonna take them home.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm gonna let you keep yours because I still have mine.
No. It was more of like just for the audience to know.
I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah. It was really cute.
Yeah. It was more for the podcast.
Yeah. It's like a little full circle moment.
Yeah.
Here we are.
So.
Well, we love you guys. Thank you so much. Like this 2 years has been a whirlwind, and I can't wait for 10 more. Like I can't. Like I don't know where this is gonna go, but like it's been fun, and I just can't imagine stopping now. So thank you guys for all of your love and support. It means a lot. And for all of you that reached out within the past 2 years, like seriously, thank you, because you're our driving factor. Honestly. So if you are scared to reach out, please do, because we love hearing from you guys. And
while you're at it, leave us a review on Apple Podcast. We would love that, because it really helps us out. It helps people find us, which is like all we want is for more people to find us, have more of you guys, and like build this community bigger and bigger. So leave that review on Apple Podcasts if you listen, which I know over 50% of you guys, that's what you listen on. So
see? Look at that.
Go leave that review.
Numbers girl. Love her. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to another episode of Society 97. My name is Kellen Redk. You can find me at Kellen Redk on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
And I'm Emily. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Starnsy. Don't forget to follow the podcast on Instagram as well. That's where you can DM us. We are at Society97.pod on the gram. We are also on TikTok at Society97pod, where we post clips from the show.
And we have our YouTube channel where we post vlogs and fun videos every single Tuesday, and the video version of the podcast every single Friday. So you don't want to miss out over there. You can see our beautiful faces every single week, twice a week.
Yep.
So make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and comment over there. We would love to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.